Do you have diabetes? Have you been told that you've got pre-diabetes? Are you completely confused about what foods you should be eating? Well, in today's video I'm going to give you 10 foods that you should be incorporating in your diet that have been shown to either improve your diabetic blood sugar control or reduce your risk of developing it in the first place. So stay tuned. Hi everyone. Dr. Doodle Dad here, out for another walk. I'm out with the family and there's some other people kicking about, so you might be able to hear folk in the background. Anyway, thanks for joining me on another video. Today's video, as I said in the introduction, is about foods you should be incorporating in your diet if you're diabetic, or if you're pre-diabetic, or even if you just want to eat a bit more healthily. Now, I've been watching quite a lot of videos recently online, and all the doctors out there, mainly Americans, are wearing their stethoscopes and their scrubs with their names on it and their white coats. So I don't tend to do that. I find that maybe presenting them in this format is a bit more accessible. But just to be clear, I am a GP. I have been a doctor for 25 years almost, and I'm also an accredited lifestyle medicine physician. So I have the credibility, and I hope that comes through in the videos. But at the same time, I think I like to make things a bit more accessible and less of me sitting behind a desk telling you what to do. So with that, let's crack on with I'm going to call them the top 10 foods you should incorporate in your diet as a diabetic, with a bonus one at the end. But they're in no particular order, and there's a few other ones you can look into which I've not mentioned today. Okay, let's get started. The number one food you should be incorporating in your diet is broccoli. Now, everyone hates broccoli, but it's highly nutritious. It's very, very dense from the point of view of its nutritional quality. It's got loads of antioxidants in it. It's full of vitamin C and iron and things like that. But it's also got loads and loads of fibre. And as you'll see the theme emerge in these foods, if they've got high fibre, that is an indigestible carbohydrate, which means it stays in your guts for a long time, it keeps you fuller for longer, and it reduces the speed with which other sugars go into the bloodstream. So anything that's high in fibre, usually good for you. So number one, broccoli. The number two food to eat if you are wanting to reduce your risk of diabetes and reduce your blood sugars if you are diabetic is avocado. Now, avocado gets a bit of bad press, mainly because it has to be flown around the world from wherever it's grown in Mexico and places like that. So environmentally, it's a bit of a difficult food to justify. However, it is full of healthy fats. It's full of fibre. It keeps you full for a long time. And importantly, it's been shown that people who eat avocado generally have a lower BMI, which means they have a lower body mass index, or put it another way, they're less fat. So incorporating avocado is really important. There's also a chemical found in avocado called AVO-B, and AVO-B is a type of fat which has been found to lower insulin resistance. So if you incorporate avocados in your diet, you might find that your blood sugars improve. So number two, avocados. Right, number three is Greek yogurt. Now you'll notice on this list that there's no other animal products, and if you look into the pathology of how diabetes comes about, or type 2 diabetes I'm talking about here, it's a combination of two things: a diet that's high in animal saturates and a diet that's high in refined carbohydrates. So that's the reason that I haven't incorporated any other animal products here. However, Greek yogurt has so many good qualities when it comes to reducing your risk of diabetes and also your diabetic blood sugar control, or improving that I should say, that it's worth a mention. So first off, it's been shown that people who eat Greek yogurt regularly are 18% less likely to develop diabetes. And that in itself means you should be having a bowl of Greek yogurt every day. The second thing is it's full of protein and it's full of fat. And those two together have a tendency to reduce hunger. So if you have that early in your day, you are less likely to eat more as the day progresses, and that prevents you from snacking, and it prevents you from eating other foodstuffs, and as a result your risk of diabetes is less, but also you're less likely to have spikes in your blood sugar throughout the day. So it improves your blood sugar control. So Greek yogurt there gets a special entry at number 3. Right, number 4 is berries. Berries get a bit of a bad press because people think they're full of sugar and therefore they're bad for diabetics. But the type of sugar that's in there is an unrefined sugar, and it really doesn't cause too much of a problem unless you're eating lots and lots of it. But what they also have is other chemicals in them, like polyphenols and acanthocyans, I think, which are chemicals that are hugely antioxidant. And if you reduce your inflammation in your body, then you're going to reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease and some of the pathologies that go with that. And diabetes, unfortunately, is an inflammatory illness and causes lots of inflammatory pathology. So incorporating lots of antioxidant type containing foods is very useful for you. And what is a good example of those? Berries. So eat a handful of berries every day, perhaps throw it in some Greek yogurt every morning. And that's number 5, it's berries. Or is that number 4? Well, berries. Anyway, good for you. Number 5 is flax seeds. Flax seeds contain lots of omega-3, and they also contain these compounds called lignans. And these have been found to reduce your body mass index. The omega-3 is also good for heart health, and as a result of those two things, it reduces your risk of cardiovascular disease, which is a significant cause of death and morbidity in people who are diabetic. So include flax seeds every day. Number 6, leafy green vegetables. Now, it's kind of obvious when I say it, but those veg have so little in the way of calories. You can eat as much as you want, but they're also full of other things like vitamin C, and they've got lots of iron, and they're generally, I guess, a superfood. And as a result of the amount of fibre they've got in them, again, a recurring theme here, that you're less likely to eat other stuff throughout the day because you're fuller for longer with the fibre. But they also, as a result of all that fibre, reduce any carbohydrates getting into the bloodstream. They sort of limit the speed with which that happens. So if you include them in your daily meals, you are going to reduce your blood sugar and potentially reduce spikes as well. So leafy green vegetables, all good. Now, I should also point out that a common theme in some of these foods is vitamin C concentration. So things like leafy green vegetables and berries and things, they're full of vitamin C, and vitamin C is a very powerful antioxidant, and as a result of having that in your diet, you reduce the damage that happens to your cells and your blood vessels and things like that, and again you reduce the pathological risk that comes with diabetes, so you're much less likely to have cardiovascular events as a result of having a diet full of vitamin C. So these foods contain that, so eat lots of them. Right, number 7 is beans. You might remember that old kids poem that went, beans are good for the heart, the more you eat, the more you... Well, anyway, beans are very good for you. They are very cheap, but also they contain loads of fibre. They contain plant proteins, which is really valuable if you're someone who's plant-based. And they are very good at, again, reducing the speed with which blood sugar rises by holding some of that sugar in your gut before it's allowed to go into the bloodstream. So beans, cheap, tasty, we should eat more of them, and that includes the legumes as well, so things like lentils and chickpeas and things like that. Please, if you can, try and eat them in their whole form. Don't be having scoops of hummus and thinking you're eating a whole food, because that's processed. So, beans, number 7. Right, number 8 is extra virgin olive oil. Now that's probably no surprise to anyone out there, but extra virgin olive oil contains a thing called oleic acid. And oleic acid has lots of benefits. One is it's a very powerful anti-inflammatory. So it reduces body inflammation, which, as I've said before, reduces your risk of cardiovascular disease, etc. But the other thing you might not know about extra virgin olive oil is it stimulates a thing called GLP-1 hormone. And GLP-1 is the thing that all the weight loss drugs are basically pretending to be. So if you watch my video, which I'll put here, on weight loss drugs, you'll see how they work. And EVOO, as I like to call it, extra virgin olive oil, is doing the exact same thing. So maybe incorporate some of that in your diet instead of perhaps taking the weight loss drugs. Maybe. So number nine is chia seeds. Chia seeds are really quite remarkable in their ability to keep you full. I do suggest you soak them first, because otherwise they fill up in your stomach and you feel a bit sick with them. But putting them in your cereals and things like that, very, very useful. They're full of fibre, they've got a whole bunch of other nutrients in them that are really useful, and they've got all the amino acids and proteins as well that you could need. But generally speaking, the high fibre content of them keeps you full for a very long time, and as a result of that you are less likely to snack and have other foods. The other thing about them is that they're actually been shown to reduce blood pressure, so perhaps incorporate chia seeds in your diet too. Number 10 is nuts. Now, not all nuts are the same, and some nuts are better than others. In particular, walnuts, almonds, things like that, they're very, very good for you. Probably don't include peanuts in that. Peanuts are a legume, they're not actually a true nut. But nuts are very healthy for you. They contain lots of indigestible carbohydrates. They slow the rate, again, of sugar going into your bloodstream. They contain lots of minerals, like selenium and Brazil nuts, I think. I mean, there's loads of benefits to nuts, but the probably best thing to know about them is they're a really useful snack. So if you're diabetic or pre-diabetic, have nuts available to you instead of a sugary snack or a carbohydrate based snack, and you'll find that they fill you up for a long period of time, and that they are way better for you in the long run than any of the other kind of shop bought snacks. So nuts in at number 10. Right, number 11, the bonus food, and that is pumpkin. Pumpkins are not just for Halloween, even though that's the only time you can seem to get them. So when you buy a pumpkin and you carve it out, please don't leave it to waste. You could actually use that, particularly if you're diabetic. And the reason is they contain a thing called pumpkin polysaccharide. And pumpkin polysaccharide has been shown to lower blood glucose, and it also reduces insulin sensitivity. So if you can find a way to include pumpkin in your diet, then that might be very beneficial. And if you can't get pumpkin, well, the other squashes, things like butternut squash, they're useful for this as well. And the softer squashes like courgettes, they're also very useful. So pumpkins and its relatives, there's your bonus. Put that in, it's number 11. So there you have it, 11 foods that pretty much everyone should be including in their diet, but particularly if you're diabetic. And you'll have seen there was a running theme there: high in fibre, reduce the speed with which sugars go into the bloodstream. They don't have any refined carbohydrates in them. They're generally full of, generally full of minerals and vitamins and things like that. Super healthy, reduce inflammation throughout the body. So incorporate those into your diet if you're diabetic. And if you've got any other questions about being diabetic and what you should be eating and things like that, then maybe watch this video and this video, which I'll include here. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. See you in the next video.